1160 AM, KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's business authority.
The information provided during this broadcast belongs to the show host and is for general informational purposes only. Nothing that is discussed or taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information does not and is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship, nor does receipt of or listening to the information provided constitute an attorney-client relationship.
Welcome to the Believers in Business Hour on KVCE AM 1160. It's time for Bar Talk with local trial lawyer Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need. Stay tuned, get informed, and get educated about your legal rights when you or a loved one have been seriously injured or harmed by the conduct of someone else or at the hands of an insurance company. Brad Parker has focused his law practice exclusively on trial work since becoming licensed in 1985 and is board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. And now, here's Bar Talk with Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need.
Well, welcome everyone. I appreciate you tuning in to Bar Talk, the talk show to give you some insight on the kind of the facts behind the scenes, if you will, or the facts behind the headlines. I hope if you have any legal questions or you feel like you want to comment on something that I say today, that you'll call in. The phone number here is 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160. Maybe you have a question about how an insurance company is treating you, or maybe you have a question about an automobile crash that you were involved in, or a trucking accident, or maybe you've got a question on a contract dispute. You know, it doesn't matter. If you've got a legal question, call in. I'll try my best to provide you an answer, and if I can't get you an answer, maybe I can direct you in the right direction. A lot of times I find when people call my office, they really don't need a lawyer. They just need some legal advice and need to know which direction to go. It's not a matter that really would justify the hiring of a lawyer. I'll tell you what, I'm really happy to be able to tell people or direct them in certain situations. Of course, I like business like anybody, any businessman, but when I can direct someone to be able to help themselves through the legal system or to avoid the legal system, even better. How to negotiate with an insurance adjuster, whether it'd be worthwhile hiring a lawyer on a particular case. Obviously, if they need to hire a lawyer, I hope they consider me. I hope you consider me. But if they can't, or if they don't need one, why hire one? And I tell people that all the time, just straight up. Hey, you don't need a lawyer. This is what you need to do. So if you do have a problem, a legal issue or something, and you think I might be able to help you, I encourage you to give me a call. My office hours, or my office number, I should say. Office hours seem like 24/7 for me. But my office number is 817-503-9200. And feel free to call me. I may not be able to talk to you right when you call in, but I will call you back. Always strive to give everybody a call back within 24 hours. And likewise, go on my website. Take a look around. Maybe there's some information on the website that can direct you in the right direction. And my website is parkerlawfirm.com. That's parkerlawfirm.com. And the best and easiest way to get hold of me is, of course, through email. And you can always catch me on my email. It's brad@parkerlawfirm.com. Excuse me, I got a little pollen, a little hay fever going on today, so I apologize in advance for that. You know, this morning I saw on the news a little bit later today that there had been a gas pipeline explosion over in Dallas. Blew a house. If you see the news tonight, you won't even recognize it as a house. It looks like nothing but rubble. Apparently there was one adult and 4 or 5 kids at the house. They all got out. I haven't heard the extent of their injuries. But they were all taken and admitted to the hospital. If you look at the house, if you see the news tonight, you're just going to be flabbergasted that anybody could even live through that. You got to believe that there's some significant injuries going on there. And, that's kind of an underlying problem that we have in not just this community, but across this state, are the dilapidated and I guess, way too old, way overused gas pipelines that crisscross this state all over the place. And, of course, with the influx of all the oil and gas industry, there's more and more gas pipelines being built. But in the urban area or in the rural areas, in the cities, some of these pipelines are decades old, and they're crumbling, they're leaking, especially in some of our less fortunate neighborhoods. If you ever smell gas, you need to get out fast. They put the chemicals in the gas so that you can smell it, and it doesn't take much to cause an explosion, especially if the gas is built up for a little bit. But I couldn't help but be a little bit amused when I was reading the accounts of this particular one, not because of the tragedy, but because of what the gas company said when they were asked about it. The Atmos Energy spokesman said the company found no indication that a leak from its pipes caused the explosion. She did say, however, a non-hazardous leaks were found in the 3-inch steel pipe in an alley adjacent to the home. Now, I guess a non-hazardous gas leak is one that doesn't blow up, or as we often comment, a mild brain injury is one that the other person has, not you. That's just a ridiculous comment to me. For them to say non-hazardous leaks. What, they just hadn't blown up yet? You caught them in time because somebody else did blow up? I don't know. Who knows what the true story is here? We won't know. But I tell you one thing, you won't know until some lawyers get involved, because you cannot rely on the fox who's guarding the hen house to give you an accurate report of how many hens are in that house. You've got to be able to have an independent investigation, someone who's looking out for your best interest. And that's the way it is on any kind of tragedy, whether it be a car accident, a trucking accident, a med-mal case, a criminal case, whatever the situation is. That's why you hire lawyers, to find out the facts, to find out the truth. Lawyers have subpoena power. They can subpoena documents. They can subpoena witnesses. They can cause the companies to come clean. They can hire experts independent of the companies, ones who aren't relying upon repeated and continual business with the company to provide them an income so that they're always used every time. I would see that a lot back when I was doing foundation slab, what we called slab movement cases back in the 90s, that we had much better what we call HOB insurance, homeowner insurance policies. And those policies would cover all loss or all perils, whereas now your insurance policy only will cover you through certain limited and specifically mentioned perils. But anyway, back in the time that we'd have some of these slab leak cases, we would see the same reports from the same engineering firms over and over and over again, every time, saying that it wasn't the leaking water under the foundation that caused the slab to crack, but it was a mimosa tree or an oak tree that was 30 feet from the house that had grown its roots over there. And we'd get these reports, and you'd get the reports, and I promise you that many times, the only thing that was different in them was the diagram of the house. Of course, that you can't copy that; you'd have to do that differently. But and the name on the report, the homeowner's name, they would say the same thing every single time. Fortunately, the courts back then said that was not a reasonable to rely on a bogus or sham report like that, and the insurance companies couldn't get away with not paying claims when they knew or should have known that the report wasn't reliable. So anyway, my sympathies go out to this family. I hope that their injuries are minor at best, and or at worst, I should say, and they make a speedy recovery. But the problem now is they don't have a home to live in, and I don't know about the non-hazardous leaks. Wonder what those neighbors think about the non-hazardous leaks down the pipeline and adjacent to other houses in the neighborhood. I wonder if that makes them sleep better at night, knowing that there's some leaks, but they're non-hazardous leaks. I doubt it. I sure wouldn't sleep well at night. I don't know if you would or not. Of course, there's been a lot going on. I'll want to talk before we get off the air tonight. There's been a lawyer down in Corpus Christi who was recently arrested for trying to put out a hit on a witness in a case against him. We, of course, had the Ferguson matter that has continued on. And I want to talk about my friend Dave Lieber over at Dallas Morning News wrote a really interesting editorial watchdog report the other day about how just calling in about a claim on your insurance might raise those rates. In any event, we'll talk about all of that and more. Of course, I've got to talk about Rick Perry. I'm Brad Parker. This is Bar Talk. You're listening to us on AM 1160 KVCE, DFW's Business Authority. Back in a minute.
Business Authority, 1160 AM, KVCE.
Tune in Thursday evenings 5 to 6 as KVCE's Believers in Business presents the Family Law Hour with attorneys Frank Skipper and Donna Smith, discussing divorce, child support, custody, mediation, adoption, and all other areas of family law. Both Frank and Donna focus their practices exclusively on family law. That's the Family Law Hour, tomorrow at 5, right here on AM 1160 KVCE, and online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the David Wynn Law Firm and the law offices of Donna J. Smith.
Hello, everybody, from Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, Indiana. It's Notre Dame football. Today, the #1 game in the nation.
Notre Dame football is back.
Sacked by a great Notre Dame defense. Intercepted again. Finding a way. Breaks into open field.
35 to 30.
Inside the 10. He's heading to the goal line.
For a touchdown,
Notre Dame.
The Irish return to reclaim college football's crown. Listen all season long on your home for Notre Dame football.
Right here on AM 1160. See a full season schedule at kvceradio.com/sports.
How is your retirement account looking? Or how about your savings account? If you're tired of watching your family's financial future disappear and are left wondering why your money manager can't seem to keep it from happening, then come learn how to take control of your own finances. Since the Bible teaches to lay aside for your grandchildren, you need a way to do just that. Attend our 2-day course and learn the system that pastor and businessman David Mitchell developed based on principles found in the Bible, along with his solid background in trading in the stock market. You can learn this system just like thousands of others have across the country. Be the person that your great-grandchildren will be talking about. New venture on Wall Street. Build your legacy.
Coming to the Hyatt Regency North Dallas and the Norris Conference Center Fort Worth, September 12th and 13th. And at the Courtyard Tyler, September 19th and 20th, 7424 South Broadway Avenue in Tyler. To register, call 877-907-TRADE. That's 877-907-TRADE. Or go to nvows.com. That's nvows.com.
We don't know what it is yet. It's expected to be here September 4th. And had I known that I was going to feel this great, I would have said, okay, long before now.
TexasSuperfood.com.
I have unbelievable amounts of energy. I have not experienced morning sickness, nausea, food cravings. I actually feel better now than before I got pregnant, which is bizarre.
I'm Dr. Dennis Black here in Dallas, Texas. In a capsule or a powder, 1 daily dose of Texas Superfood delivers the same nutrition as 12, count them, 12 servings of raw fruits and vegetables.
You can take just a few capsules of Texas Superfood every day to give your body the nutrition and the good, clean energy that it needs to make sure that the baby is healthy. Healthy mother, healthy baby.
Join us on TexasSuperfood.com or call us 844-DRBLACK.
844-Dr. Black.
TexasSuperfood.com.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Massachusetts.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker. When I first got out of law school, I went to work for a big downtown Fort Worth law firm. It was a prestigious job, but I never felt fulfilled professionally helping banks and companies. I didn't have that fulfillment that kind of drove me to be a lawyer to begin with. And the more I saw and learned, the more I realized that maybe being in the big firm wasn't the right thing for me. I went out on my own to start doing some personal injury work and what we call insurance bad faith, because you get the opportunity to help real people. Your efforts and your success makes a difference in their lives.
And that is very satisfying and very rewarding to me. And it drives me every morning when I wake up to be able to help people. The rewarding times after a case is settled, the cards I get from clients, just to say, thank you, you made a difference in my life. I never really got that from the CEOs of the banks that I represented. It is truly rewarding to know that you've made a difference in someone's life and you've really helped them out.
Principal Office, Bedford, Texas.
This is 1160 AM KVCE. KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's Business Authority.
Welcome back to Believers in Business Bar Talk with Texas Board Certified Personal Injury Trial Lawyer Brad Parker, right here on AM 1160 KVCE. Have questions? Get answers. Call in at 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160. You can check it out online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the Parker Law Firm.
Man, I always like listening to that song. It brings back so many good memories. I love that song. I'll come in and do this show just to listen to that. Well, welcome back. This is Bar Talk, and I'm Brad Parker, the lawyer you want but hope you never need. Well, as I mentioned before the break, lots been going on in the legal news, and if you've been following the program at all, you know that one of the things I'm trying to do in developing this program is let's talk about the facts behind the legal headlines and try to give some information that people can use in their everyday lives, as well as just educate folks about the legal system. I think the more you know about our civil justice system and how it works, the better appreciation you will have for it. Juries are a wonderful, wonderful thing. In my opinion, they typically get it right. It's easy to criticize a jury because we only get half the story. We believe the smoke and mirrors that we see propounded by either side to the litigation. I mean, both sides are guilty of it. There's no necessarily good or wrong in some of this stuff. It's just the way it's spun. It's the way our society is. But the jurors get to decide the case based on the real facts, the facts that are presented in the courtroom, the evidence that's presented, and the ruling, and they follow the law. And it's been my experience over 30 years of practicing. Jurors work real hard on trying to make it get the right decision. And if you've never served on a jury, I encourage you to try to do so. I think you will find it to be one of the most rewarding things you've done. Where else in society can 12 total strangers who have absolutely nothing in common other than they've got a jury notice, don't know each other, come together and make a decision that is truly, can be truly, and it always is. I mean, the people involved in the litigation, the parties, it's probably one of the most important things going on in their lives. And it's where corporations and insurance companies can be held accountable for their conduct. Where else could the normal person just working 9 to 5, 8 to 5 job, hardworking individuals and families seek redress? You know, how are you going to make an insurance company do the right thing if you didn't have the civil justice system? How are you going to make GM fix those ignitions? You know, look how long they ignored that. It's only because of lawyers and the civil justice system that they're even attempting to do it. They knew they were broken. They knew they were causing deaths. They knew they were causing injuries, yet they did absolutely nothing about it. It wasn't until the lawyers got involved that are now forcing them to do it. If I sound a little animated and passionate, well, it's because I am. I love what I do, and I truly believe in this system. But boy, there are some bad apples in it sometimes, and it's like everything. There's bad painters and there's good painters. There's bad lawyers and there's good lawyers. Fortunately, most painters are good painters. Most lawyers are good, honorable, ethical people. However, there are some bad seeds out there, and I've done in my career what I can to be sure we weed those folks out. I sat on the disciplinary committee for the District 7A. For I guess it was 4 years, reviewing complaints and listening to grievances filed against attorneys. And I chaired one of the committees that did that. It was a very rewarding and eye-opening experience. And truly, you got to see people just frustrated because there wasn't communication, and then also just some attorneys who do stupid things, and they don't deserve to be practicing law. Well, that happened down in Corpus Christi. One of the things that we can't do as lawyers is pay someone to go get a case for us. In other words, you've heard of these ambulance chasers. That's the term that's usually associated with it. And what that really means, and what's actually a felony if you do it, is going out and directly soliciting clients for representation. You hear of a big trucking wreck, for instance, and some lawyer decides, well, I want to represent those people. So he goes to the hospital and walks in the room and tries to influence the family. Or he goes down to the street and goes next door and says, listen, I'll pay your mortgage for a year if you'll work with this family and get them to sign a contract with me so I can represent them. Or you have a runner, a quote, private investigator who goes out under the guise of being a private investigator looking at the case. Well, the real reason that they're out there is for one reason and one reason only, and that is to get you to sign up with that lawyer. And that kind of contact and conduct is absolutely prohibited by the rules of ethical behavior, not only by the State Bar of Texas, but across this country, as well as it being a criminal offense, a felony. You cannot ever do that. Well, it appears that there was we've always had those problems, and back in the session, 2011 and 2013, a lawyer out of Corpus by the name of Bill Edwards was very instrumental in getting some legislation passed. We worked with him very closely through the Texas Trial Lawyers Association in strengthening the barratry laws in this state so that we could prosecute, that we could chase after those ambulance chasers, if you will, because they are a scourge on our society. They're a scourge on our profession, and they've got to be rooted out and prosecuted. And we made it available that we can not only prosecute them, that was always the case, but now you could sue them from a civil standpoint. Well, down in Corpus Christi, there was a lawyer who had offices both in Corpus Christi and in San Antonio, Paul David Andrews, and he was indicted for barratry. His office staff was entered into contracts with him that would pay them extra money for going out and getting cases. You know, and I guess he was trying to be like the see no evil, the three monkeys, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. He didn't want to know how they got the cases. He just wanted them to go out and get the cases. Well, one of his disgruntled employees blew the whistle on him, and the DA indicted him and another fella down there, arrested him, fingerprint booked, got out on bail. He's allowed to continue to practice pending the allegations because he is innocent until proven guilty. But he was, in the meantime, representing a fella in a race discrimination case. And I guess this fella he thought was kind of a rough character. And so basically he said, hey, I've got this former legal assistant who I'm really mad at. And golly, she's one of the most prejudiced people I've ever met in my life. She's a liar. She's suing me. She's a witness against me in this criminal matter that I've got going on. And I was, you know, maybe you could kill her or hire someone to kill her. And I'm thinking, oh my God. I mean, that's to go to show you how serious these barratry issues can be. I mean, it's a serious crime, and he wants to try to kill his former employee who caused him to be arrested for breaking the law. Of course, his client didn't want to have any part of it. His client went to the DA. And they wired up the client and went back in there. And the lawyer said, look, we can't have a paper trail on how I pay you to kill Miss Uribe. But I think what I can do, though, since I'm representing you in this litigation on a contingency fee contract, I can just lower my fee significantly so that there'll be no paper trail. And, you know, I can just represent you when we get a recovery. You're going to get a lot more recovery because of that. Well, as well we would hope, that scheme did not work. And Mr. Andrews was arrested in Corpus Christi a few days back, and now he is looking at, I would suggest, a much more significant problem in his legal future in the upcoming years. He's not going to be practicing law for long, folks, and that's a good thing. We need those kinds of folks out of the business of law. Ironically, Bill Edwards is representing Miss Uribe, the man who was instrumental in getting much of this barratry statute passed back in the 2011 and 2013 legislature. And it's an honor and a privilege to know Bill. He's a fine, fine lawyer and gentleman down there, and I enjoyed working with him during the session. Well, it's about time for another break. When we come back, I do want to touch on the latest developments on the Perry indictment and give you a little more facts behind the scene on that. Come back, listen to the rest of Bar Talk. I'm Brad Parker. You're listening to me on AM 1160 KBCE, DFW's Business Authority.
From Wall Street to the Metroplex, this is 1160 AM KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's Business Authority.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter. We have an unwavering commitment to people who have been seriously harmed by the negligence or wrongdoing of others. Our practice focuses on those who have been killed or seriously injured in major trucking or car accidents, or whose lives have been seriously disrupted by the bad faith conduct of an insurance company.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker, Principal Partner at Parker Law Firm. I'm board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I'm also the immediate past president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association. When you or a loved one has been seriously injured in an accident caused by another person's negligence, you may not know where to go or who to trust. Our firm is built on years of trial experience, a tradition of personal service, and a reputation for zealous representation of our clients. We're dedicated to providing experienced and comprehensive legal assistance to individuals and their families during their times of need.
Let the attorneys from Parker Law Firm help you. Get a free consultation. Call 817-503-9200. ParkerLawFirm.com. Principal Office, Bedford, Texas.
Now is the time to go to your Kubota dealer and get a brand new Kubota M-Series tractor during Kubota's Gear Up and Go sales event. If you're thinking about a rugged utility tractor and the year-round comfort of a Grand X-Cab, then a new Kubota has your name on it. With a smooth-running diesel engine and IntelliShift transmission, your Kubota dealer is the place to start. Right now, get your own Kubota M-Series tractor for 0 down and 0% financing for up to 60 months. So for a great deal, think orange at the Kubota Gear Up and Go sales event. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to TexasKubotaDealers.com.
0 down, 0% APR financing for terms up to 60 months on selected equipment now through September 30th, 2014. Not available for rental national accounts or government customers. 0% APR low rate financing not available with instant rebate offers. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA subject to credit approval. Other exceptions may apply. For more information, call toll-free 1-888-465-8268.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really? Yeah.
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-806-0894. 800-806-0894.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker.
When I first got out of law school, I went to work for a big downtown Fort Worth law firm. It was a prestigious job, but I never felt fulfilled professionally helping banks and companies. I didn't have that fulfillment that kind of drove me to be a lawyer to begin with. And the more I saw and learned, the more I realized that maybe being in the big firm wasn't the right thing for me. I went out on my own and started doing some personal injury work and what we call insurance bad faith, because you get the opportunity to help real people. Your efforts and your success makes a difference in their lives. And that is very satisfying and very rewarding to me. And it drives me every morning when I wake up to be able to help people. The rewarding times after a case is settled, the cards I get from clients, just to say, thank you, you made a difference in my life. I never really got that from the CEOs of the banks that I represented. It is truly rewarding to know that you've made a difference in someone's life and you've really helped them out.
Principal Office, Bedford, Texas.
This is 1160 AM, KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's business authority.
Welcome back to Bar Talk with Brad Parker. You can check it out online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the Parker Law Firm. Have questions? Get answers. Call in at 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160.
What you say, I won't pay.
Well, welcome back. I wanted to remind everybody, I'm Brad Parker. Of course, you're listening to Bar Talk. If you can't call in or you just got a different subject you want to talk about and you need a lawyer, call me anytime, 817-503-9200. That's 817-503-9200. I think I need to get one of those little jingles, like a carpet place or a car dealership, and maybe that'll be easy to remember or something like that. But if you can't remember the number, remember me, Brad at ParkerLawFirm.com. That's Brad at ParkerLawFirm.com. Be happy to help you in any way I can, and if I cannot help you, I will try my darndest to get you to somebody who can, assuming you need help. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of times people just have a question. And once they get that question answered, they're good to go. That's all they needed to know. Be sure they were on the right path of what they were trying to do. And never mind doing that. And listen, my consultations are free. If I can help you over the phone or an email or just a short consultation, they're free. If we feel like we need to get together, I will absolutely get together with you. But give me a call. That's 817-503-9200 or Brad at ParkerLawFirm.com. Well, we were talking about juries a few minutes ago and how much I believe in the jury system, and it looks like our good governor is going to have his opportunity to have the jury system listen to his case. But the big news this week on that is that he's trying to avoid a jury, and I don't fault him for that at all, folks. I don't like a lot of things that Rick Perry does and has done, but I sure don't fault him for trying to get the indictment, what we call quashed or dismissed. They have filed a motion to quash the indictment. The basis for it is that it's vague and overbroad, and that it violates the statutes under which he was indicted. Their contention is they violate the U.S. Constitution and the Texas Constitution on their face. And then they also believe that they are unconstitutional as applied to the specific facts of this case. And those are pretty hyper-technical deals, but in essence, what they're trying to say and what they're trying to convince the court to go with them on is that the statutes in and of themselves, as they apply to the governor in his use of a veto, would be unconstitutional, that they would require the courts to defy the separation of powers doctrine and thereby would impose an intolerable and incalculable chilling effect on the free exercise of legitimate constitutional powers for future governors. And all that to say is that I did nothing wrong. And they are also trying to say that even if you believe every fact as alleged or that may exist as true, that's still not a violation of anything that the governor did or any law that may be out there. And then lastly, one of the things they're trying to say is that when the governor, who's part of the executive branch, of course, is doing his veto power, he is actually operating in a legislative capacity, and therefore he would enjoy legislative immunity in the exercise of that veto power. Again, those are pretty hyper-technical issues and legal questions that have to be resolved by the judge. And the judge, of course, is the judge out of San Antonio, retired Judge Burt Richardson of Bexar County. He's a Republican. He was appointed to oversee this case by Billy Ray Stubblefield, Judge Stubblefield, who is the administrative judge of the 3rd Judicial District. He was a Perry appointee who is also a Republican. So don't listen or buy into this nonsense that this is a partisan effort. The Republican judge appointed by Perry appointed a Republican judge to hear this matter, and the prosecutor on it, from all indications, is nonpartisan as well. Of course, he was appointed or nominated by President Bush to be the U.S. Attorney for the Western District, and in doing so, he had the approval of both of our Republican state senators from Texas, John Cornyn and Kay Bailey Hutchinson. So this is a Democratic run-through is nonsense. It is totally not. And what's going to be interesting to see how the court rules on this motion to quash. Mr. McCallum, who is the prosecuting attorney on this deal, the special prosecutor, has until Friday to file his response. And more likely than not, the judge will rule on it without a hearing. However, if there is a hearing, of course, both sides will show up and present their evidence. This the next thing that happens, regardless of how Judge Richardson rules, the next step will undoubtedly be an appeal of that ruling. Whether he dismisses it or fails to dismiss it, it'll be an appeal of that ruling to the 3rd Court of Appeals based out of Austin. And that court, I meant to look to see how many counties. It's not just Travis County. Those judges are elected from about, I would guess in that area, 10 or 12, maybe 13 or 14 county area that surrounds the Austin area. So you've got a lot of area that's covered there. And then depending upon how they rule, the parties could still take it up to the Court of Criminal Appeals. That's different than the Texas Supreme Court. The Court of Criminal Appeals is hears nothing but criminal matters, whereas the Texas Supreme Court hears strictly civil matters. This being a criminal matter, it would go before the Court of Criminal Appeals. Those judges are elected statewide, and I believe that every single one of them is a Republican. So in any event, you've got a lot of Republicans going to be grading lots of paper here, and we'll have to see how that happens. Another interesting aspect that has happened since we were last on last week with Bar Talk is that Perry expanded his legal team. And as you may or may not be aware, Perry has been a big, quote, tort reformer, meaning he has tried to put lawyers like me out of business, lawyers who represent people who have been hurt, people who have been cheated, people who have been lied to. He has done his darned best to change the laws so that people can't have access to the courtrooms. Well, interestingly enough, and it's kind of, I got a chuckle out of this, it's you hate trial lawyers until you need one, and then they're your best friend. And that must be the case with our governor, because he has hired one heck of a good trial lawyer. Tony Busby is on this legal team. I do not know Tony personally, but he is well known across the state and the circles I run in, as well as many others, as a top-notch trial attorney. His big claim to fame was he represented numerous people in the BP explosion cases that released noxious and poisonous gas into the air back in 2007. He actually tried a few of those cases and was very successful in them. He has done the other BP lawsuit as well on the horizon. Been involved in that from what I understand. Busby graduated from A&M with a psychology major. He went to the University of Houston Law, and Perry got to know him apparently through his first presidential campaign run. Busby was appointed to the Board of Regents for A&M University by Governor Perry just a little over a year ago. And Busby gives back. I mean, he's given back to the Trial Lawyers Association. He's given back to the legal community, both financially and with his time. And he's also given money to the A&M School of Law. He recently donated $1 million to the School of Law there in Fort Worth, which was Texas Wesleyan University School of Law, was sold to Texas A&M and is now known as Texas A&M School of Law. So Busby's both a brilliant lawyer, a great guy from everything I hear about, and a dedicated trial lawyer and philanthropist. He gives back to the community. But it's just interesting that when Perry's hide is in the thick of it, one of the lead lawyers he pulls on and draws on is a trial lawyer. Those who he's tried to put out of business, those who he equates with sharks, those he equates with charlatans. But boy, when he needs one, he sure wants one, which is absolutely his right. And he shows that he's pretty smart in that regard, as far as I'm concerned. It is, like I say, the lawyer you want, but hope you never, ever, ever need. Of course, the other issue is the legal bills that Perry's racking up. He racked up $80,000. Are the taxpayers responsible for that? Well, yes, they are. It's a question. It's a hotly debated question, but Perry has decided that he's going to pay all these new lawyers, including Tony Busby, out of his campaign fund that he has raised, the money he raises through that. So that's going to be a very, very interesting legal process. I don't care what side of the political tree you're on. This is interesting legal work at work, and it's going to be fun to watch. Come back. We'll talk about a few more things. This is Bar Talk, and I'm Brad Parker. You're listening to us on AM 1160 KVCE, DFW's Business Authority.
Listening to 1160 AM KVCE.
It's time. Your old inefficient windows and doors have to go. Maybe they're drafty, not working like they should, or just old and outdated. So call Pella, the start-to-finish window and door replacement solution. A Pella professional will come to you and help you choose the right products for your home and budget. And on installation day, a Pella expert installer will lead their team, with most projects completing in as little as a day. Exceptionally energy-efficient Pella products can brighten rooms and help block the outside noise your current windows and doors may be letting in. Plus, when you work with Pella, your windows and doors and their installation, including labor, are covered for up to 10 years. That's the Pella Care Guarantee. See Pella.com for details. Now is the time to upgrade to Pella. Schedule a free consult today and you'll get 40% off qualifying Pella projects or special financing. Certain restrictions apply. Visit Pella.com/radio or call 800-331-3950. That's 800-331-3950. 800-331-3950.
The Texas Legends and Smith Thompson Home Security have announced the return and expansion of the Love Those Legends fan tour for the 2014-15 season. The tour, sponsored by Smith Thompson Home Security, will consist of 3 bus trips and 1 flight to the NBA Development League Showcase. Smith Thompson has now added a stop for a music and entertainment night as well. Legends fans will gear up for the season with a bus trip to Southside Ballroom in Dallas for the Need to Breathe concert on September 6th. Participants will be chosen from an Enter to Win promotion. For bus trips, 30 participants will be chosen per trip, while 6 lucky fans will win an all-expenses-paid trip to the showcase. The new music leg of the tour will host 15 winners who each get to bring a guest. Fans can register to win at texlegends.com or sign up during all 2014-2015 home games. These trips will provide a unique behind-the-scenes vantage point for fans. The winners of the concert experience will be chosen August 30th. For more information on the Love Those Legends fan tour, visit texlegends.com.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter. We have an unwavering commitment to people who have been seriously harmed by the negligence or wrongdoing of others. Our practice focuses on those who have been killed or seriously injured in major trucking or car accidents, or whose lives have been seriously disrupted by the bad faith conduct of an insurance company.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker, principal partner at Parker Law Firm. I'm board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I'm also the immediate past president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association. When you or a loved one has been seriously injured in an accident caused by another person's negligence, you may not know where to go or who to trust. Our firm is built on years of trial experience, a tradition of personal service, and a reputation for zealous representation of our clients. We're dedicated to providing experienced and comprehensive legal assistance to individuals and their families during their times of need.
Let the attorneys from Parker Law Firm help you. Get a free consultation. Call 817-503-9200. ParkerLawFirm.com. Principal office, Bedford, Texas.
Boss Academy Radio wants to give back to its listeners. For the first time in 10 years, Tony Robbins is coming back to Dallas to help you unleash the power within.
Are you going to give up or move forward? Are you going to blame somebody or are you going to change something? Whatever you do is going to shape your destiny.
Turn fear into power and transform everything from finances to your relationships to your health. This isn't hyper motivation, but a life-changing event hosted by a man who has helped transform and influence the lives of more than 8 million people worldwide. When registering to attend this powerful, life-changing 4-day seminar, get your special Boss Academy discount. All you have to do is dial 858-535-6220 and tell them Boss Academy sent you. Unleash the power within, where the impossible becomes possible with Tony Robbins Live, October 23rd through the 26th at the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center, 650 South Griffin Street in Dallas. Visit kvceradio.com or call today and mention Boss Academy, 858-535-6220. That's 858-535-6220.
The Business Authority, 1160 AM KVCE.
Welcome back to Believers in Business Bar Talk with Texas Board Certified Personal Injury Trial Lawyer Brad Parker, right here on AM 1160 KVCE. Have questions? Get answers. Call in at 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160. You can check it out online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the Parker Law Firm.
Listen, if you want to have a question, you don't want to call in today, call me during my office hours, 817-503-9200. That's 817-503-9200. Don't like to talk? Just want to write? Email me, brad@parkerlawfirm.com. That's brad@parkerlawfirm.com. Welcome back to Bar Talk. I'm Brad Parker, the attorney you want, but hope you never need. Well, one of the things I want to finish up with today is I hear all of this talk about the PIU, the Public Integrity Unit that of the Travis County DA's office. You know, the kind of the underlying reason why all the veto from Perry went out, and there's something that everybody should realize about this prosecution or the indictment that came down for Perry. The PIU had nothing to do with it. This is all being done by a special prosecutor. It is not going through the PIU office. The fact they recused themselves. This is coming through a special prosecutor appointed by a Republican judge, appointed by a Republican administrative judge who was appointed by Governor Perry himself. So this is not PIU. But what I think is really troubling about this is that the PIU is under attack, and it has been ever since its inception. This PIU unit was really created back in the it was thought about and created, I think came into being in the very early 80s as part of the Travis County District Attorney's Office. And the purpose of it was to investigate and police political corruption by office holders and employees of office holders. And where better to have that unit be than in Austin, Texas, the capital of the state of Texas. It's really a no-brainer. And what's wrong? I mean, we'd had Sharpstown. We'd had numerous problems with corruption and ethical violations and campaign financing and reporting, all kinds of issues. So the unit was created, and Ronnie Earl was the DA of Travis County at that time. He was a Democrat, and he ran that unit until his retirement, and he declined to run for office when Rosemary Lindbergh came on board. I believe that was, and I'm going to get this wrong, but I think she actually took office in 2007 or 9 maybe. In any event, it has been there now for a couple of decades and almost really 30 years, I guess. About 30 years. But during that time, you'll hear the Republicans allude to that, they've done nothing but witch hunt the Republican Party. That's not true either. Yes, there have been some Republicans. Tom DeLay was probably the biggest one that we can remember right now before Governor Perry. But of the 21, that's right, just 21 criminal cases pursued against office holders, public office holders, elected officials. 15 of those have been against Democrats. Only 6 have been against Republicans. So to buy into that this somehow is a witch hunt association or governmental agency that witch hunts Republicans is just not true. It has gone after many more, almost 3 times as many Democrats as it has Republicans. Some of the more famous or infamous, however you may look at it, but famous, Jim Maddox was prosecuted for commercial bribery. He was the Democratic Attorney General for the state of Texas. He was prosecuted. He was ultimately acquitted, just as Kay Bailey Hutchinson was before she became senator. She was acquitted. Speaker Gib Lewis over in Fort Worth, who was Speaker of the House, agreed not to run on ethical violations when they surfaced against him. The allegations were that he failed to report political gifts. He did not run. So you may say, then what does it do if it's only prosecuting 21 people? That's just public officials. Now, there are other prosecutions that go on. Ultimately, the PIU was given broader authority to also prosecute insurance fraud cases and tax fraud cases. Specifically, they go after a lot of motor fuels tax cases. And that's where the bulk of much of their work has been, because many counties don't have the sophistication or money to follow through on these motor fuels tax fraud cases or the insurance fraud cases. The Travis County DA's PIU unit was given that authority. What happened when the governor vetoed the roughly $7.3 million for the biennium for this PIU unit is that they had to fire people. At the time of the veto, there are approximately 425 cases of corruption and tax fraud pending. Only 23 of the 425 cases involved public corruption against public officials. So in essence, what you had was approximately 400 insurance fraud and motor fuel tax fraud cases that, no pun intended, evaporated. Because there was no funding, they could not be pursued. Of the 400 cases, roughly 132 of them were insurance fraud cases. There were also that were transferred. Those cases were transferred to the Texas Department of Insurance. And while there are a lot of great, good, hardworking people at the Department of Insurance, expecting them to pick up and prosecute an insurance fraud case against an insurance company, you might as well go back inside and smoke some more of whatever it is you're smoking, because that's just not going to happen. It's the hen garden or the fox garden, the hen house. So it's when you hear people talk about the PIU, know what the real facts are, and know that a vital, a very important part of policing fraud in this state has been evaporated. I didn't get an opportunity to talk to you about raising questions about potential coverage issues, may raise your car insurance premiums. I'll try to get to that next week. Next week, though, we may not get to it either, because I've got a great guest I'm trying to get lined up, Jim Gerards. He's a plaintiff's lawyer over in Dallas that's still one of the very few people who prosecutes medical malpractice in this state. And in fact, Jim's a great friend of mine, and he's been prosecuting a particular case, a doctor who basically the hospital allowed this doctor to continue to practice even though they know he was butchering people right and left. This is going to be a very, very interesting topic. Jim has been on top of it. He's involved in it. I really encourage you to listen in next week for us to talk about that. Jim is also board certified, and he'll bring a real neat perspective to things. Well, we're out of time. I'm going to have to sign off now. I want you to call me if you have any questions. That's 817-503-9200. I want to thank Mac Broom for helping out today, running the board, keeping me on time. And stay tuned for the Bloomberg News Hour coming up next. And tomorrow, don't forget about the Family Law Hour with Frank and Donna.
Thanks for joining us for Bar Talk with local trial lawyer Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need. Join us again next week when you, the listener, can become more educated about your legal rights and your Seventh Amendment right to a civil justice system. Until then, if you are in need of legal advice or services, contact local attorney Brad Parker at 817-503-9200 or on his website at parkerlawfirm.com.